What's up, guys? This is Derek from WherePlatesMoreDates.com. Today is going to be my second top 10 most complimented list. This is going to be my top 10 most complimented fragrances slash colognes of 2017 up to now. So this is pretty much from my last video in 2016 up to now, which has got me the most compliments from top 10 to top 1. So without further ado, we're going to start with number 10. Number 10 is by Rain Tradition. It's called Insurrection PR2. If you've even scratched the surface of the bottle, is actually pretty cool, to be honest. If you've even scratched the surface of men's fragrances, you probably know by now that the infamous Creed Aventus is regarded by many as like the holy grail scent, pretty much. Insurrection PR2 is essentially just a Creed Aventus clone, smelling nearly 100% identical for a minuscule fraction of the retail price. So only a fragrance expert or like a frag head or like whatever you want to call it would be able to tell the difference if you blindfolded them, to be honest. So the retail price of Insurrection PR2 is only around $23. Meanwhile, Aventus is commonly sold for upwards of $300. The scent opens with like a very obvious pineapple note, and then it dries down into like a woody, creamy and smoky kind of scent. It definitely has a very apparent musk to it as well, almost kind of like a hint of the musk you would get from like Fierce or Legend. The bottom line though, this stuff, it's pretty much a clone of Aventus, and it garners the same reaction from the ladies that Aventus does, so compliments left, right, and center. I think it's best for summer and hotter temperatures, just like Aventus is. And a good thing about it is it provides a nice alternative to most standard summer fragrances as well, in that it isn't aquatic and just fresh smelling, like most summer fragrances, like, you know, like Versace Eau Fraiche, I think that was the brand. Nautica Voyage, all those kind of colognes are like really aquatic smelling, Aqua di Gio, that kind of stuff. This one is very unique. It doesn't just smell like a classic aquatic, and you'll definitely stand out with this one. And, you know, it's so cheap, it's kind of like a no-brainer to have this one in your collection, in my opinion. Number 9, it's Salvatore Ferragamo F Black. So this one would probably be higher on my list if it were more versatile. Pretty much the situation I use it for, I don't wear it. I wear it for a very particular situation. So like the sheer amount of compliments would probably be more if it was more versatile to be used in other situations as well. Pretty much the fragrance like is very masculine smelling. It's the manliest fragrance on this list by far. It has very obvious notes of lavender, tonka bean, and black pepper. Black pepper being the most obvious in my opinion. It actually smells similar to La Nuit de l'Homme, except with more edge, masculinity, and more pepper. So definitely excels in outdoor situations, particularly colder weather temperatures, as its projection and longevity are definitely in the beast category. This definitely isn't a summer fragrance whatsoever. I find it best for the fall and winter months, as it is kind of sophisticated smelling, manly, and it can cut through the cold air outside and still project to, you know, like your date or whoever you're walking around with. It's also very, very cheap, so that makes it another great option to have on hand and can kind of justify having it for that particular scenario. If it was more expensive, I'm not sure if I would necessarily use it as much like for that situation like I currently do. Number 8 is going to be a tie between Perry Ellis 360 Red and Nautica Voyage. So these are both very inexpensive fragrances as well. 360 Red smells exactly the same as Aqua di Gio, but it performs much better with greater projection and longevity, in my opinion. It's not only way cheaper than Aqua di Gio, but it performs better, like I just said. It's super versatile, can be used at work, school, running errands, on dates, with family, out with friends. It's literally fantastic for almost every situation. The most notable notes from it are the lime, cinnamon, and bergamot. It's very strong, so be careful not to over apply it. You can be very conservative with your application and still get very good projection and longevity out of it. As far as Nautica Voyage, I think it's the cheapest fragrance on this list. It's only like $14 or $15. It falls into like the same category as 360 Red in the sense that it is great for everyday use, and it's kind of like the most universally pleasing scent on this list. Probably, I've never had somebody tell me it smells bad. I always get a good reaction out of it. I always have a bottle of it in my collection. It's great for just like, using for the gym or for work or for any of that kind of stuff. It's perfect for summertime. It's very fresh. It's like aquatic smelling, like I was referring to earlier. It has mass appeal with women and is very, very safe. So you can't really go wrong with it. The performance is great, super versatile, insanely cheap. Women love it. You can't really go wrong with it. Okay, number 7 is Armani Code Profumo. This is my go-to clubbing scent right now. The fragrance kind of smells like, it's like delicious smelling, to be honest. It definitely has some of the same DNA as the original Armani Code, but it definitely has been amped up about 20 notches in the performance category, and it's a lot sweeter smelling. It's a fantastic clubbing fragrance, and by that I mean it can cut through the crowd and like through the other dudes' fragrances and bring hordes of compliments in. Like if you're surrounded by a bunch of people, it can still perform well, and that's what makes it so great for the club. It's very sophisticated, sexy smelling. It definitely has a few qualities that differentiate it from Armani Code Original in a big way. Original almost smells like a fresh out of the shower type like powdery fragrance, whereas Profumo is absolutely not subtle and falls into the beast category for performance. And best of all, not that many guys wear it. At least where I'm from, no one wears it at all. No one even knows about it, really, to be honest. You can expect 10 plus hours of high performance wear out of just a few spritzes of it because it's that strong. Moving on to number 6, it's a tie between Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce and Mont Blanc Legend. The reason why they're tied is because they literally smell identical to each other. They're pretty much interchangeable, to be honest. Legend is kind of like a more cost-effective alternative to Fierce, and for many guys that buy Legend instead, they swear they can't tell the difference between the two. I notice a subtle difference. I think that Fierce is slightly more musky and deeper, and Legend has a bit of like a tang on the end. I don't really know how to explain it. That's just kind of like what my nose picks up. They project very strongly, so if you're using it in a date setting, it is best to be conservative with application of it and to bring a travel atomizer with you just in case you need to reapply later, but you probably won't even need to. The best way to describe these fragrances, they are pure musk. If you've ever walked into an Abercrombie and Fitch store, you've probably smelled this fragrance because in their retail locations, they're completely filled with the scent in the air. I think back to my teenage high school days when I smell this fragrance. It is very youthful, playful, and young, sexy, if that makes sense. I don't think that older men would be able to wear this. It's kind of tailored towards the teenage / very young adult crowd. I held off from buying the scent for a while, even though I'd been contemplating it for a couple of years. But I ended up pulling the trigger last year and was very pleased with the amount of compliments it brought in. And I find it best for like school and dates probably, as far as the situation I would use it in. Number 5. It's La Nuit de l'Homme. So this was my number 1 last year, and the only reason it has dropped is simply because the number of compliments it has gotten has been superseded by the other 4 I will mention. This fragrance is still an absolute masterpiece, eloquently mixing, like sexy, masculine, soft in one like heavenly, blissful mix of panty-dropping juice. This will absolutely get you tons of compliments on dates and other close encounter situations, and is still a must to have in your collection if you want some variety for your dates, because it's softer, kind of. It's definitely unique from most of the other, like date scents. If you only want one scent for your dates, then consider La Nuit de l'Homme if the fragrance type you want isn't aggressively masculine, but is still, like sexy smelling. It is definitely the softest of the top date fragrances I have in my list, but so if you don't find that congruent with your personality and you don't want to have that, then don't get it. But, it never fails to be sexy as hell to women, and it definitely gets lots of compliments. Number 4. I know you guys hate this one. Christian Dior Sauvage. So, as much as the fragrance community loves to hate this fragrance, I can't deny it is quickly becoming one of my most complimented fragrances. It's pretty much just synthetic smelling. Most guys don't like it when they go to test it out and smell it themselves, but women still love it, and it excels particularly well in the summer. It's definitely one of my go-to fragrances now for running errands, grocery shopping, and almost anything else in the summertime, with the exception of close encounter dates, because it's so strong. Like, it's stupid strong. The performance of this is arguably stronger than even Armani Code Profumo, and is very powerful, so conservative spraying should always be done with Sauvage. It literally will project across the room and last for 10 to 12 plus hours at close to full strength, even with just like moderate application. So definitely don't overdo it with this one, or you will be very cloying. Even conservatively applied though, when you're out about in the spring and summertime, you'll get tons of compliments from women like trailing behind you and like around you in your vicinity. This one is definitely blind buy worthy, because even if you go to the store to smell it, you're probably not going to like it very much. I assure you, despite what your opinion of this might be, I don't think it smells great either, to be honest. I hated it when I first smelled it. Women love it, so if that's all you care about, like me, then anyway. Number 3 is the One EDP version by Dolce & Gabbana. So this masterpiece is simply the Eau de Parfum concentrated version of the EDT version of the One. We kind of lucked out with this one in that they actually nailed the scent and maintained its integrity while doing exactly what we hoped with it, which was simply to make it stronger but smell exactly the same. It's not way stronger. It's just like a couple hours more longevity, but it still smells the same, so that's really important, because sometimes the EDPs just get butchered. This sexy smell has a very obvious boozy tobacco note in it that makes it smell very sophisticated, and the overall scent is just like sexy. If you were only to buy one fragrance that would universally please the nose of everyone who smells it for a date scent or like a night scent, this would probably be the safest buy for you. This fragrance is the definition of a panty dropper and is exceptional for dates as well as pretty much any nighttime situation, in my opinion. I feel it excels more in colder temperatures, but it can honestly be used year-round and is very versatile. This fragrance is, honestly, I can't say enough good things about it. I think it'll probably always be in my top 10, to be honest. Just compliments every single time. Okay, moving on to number 2. Carolina Herrera CH Men, and the newer rendition CH Men Privé. I don't have a bottle on hand at the moment because I've been using the CH Men, but CH Men is still my personal favorite fragrance in my collection. It has a blatant whiskey and leather note, and those make the fragrance very masculine and almost smell like a bad boy kind of like fragrance. It's definitely not as soft as something like La Nuit de l'Homme if you were to kind of like make a comparison of date fragrances. It's hard to put into words, but it's really alluring smelling, classy, and still has an obvious edge to it. Has a bit of a playful vibe due to the evident sweetness in it. And I find this fragrance excels most in the evening during indoor dates and get-togethers, although it is still pretty versatile. Right now, I'd say your best bet is to go with CH Men Privé, because it's really hard to find the older formulations of CH Men, and all the new ones are completely weakened. as far as the CH Men original. So CH Men Privé is your best bet as far as performance and longevity and making sure you're getting like the correct juice. So as far as that, yeah, I recommend getting Privé instead of CH Men because it's really hard. Unless you're buying gift sets, it's kind of hard to find the original CH Men in an old formulation like pre-2011 by now. It's like 6 years old, so don't bother getting the original CH Men. Go straight for Privé. Okay, on to my number one. I was actually very surprised that I thought this was going to be an underdog in the compliments department, but I was very surprised at my results with it. I bought this scent at the beginning of last fall because I wanted something spicier for the fall and winter seasons. I knew of this fragrance, but I never pulled the trigger on it. And one day I was at the store in the mall smelling a variety of fragrances, and I pulled out a sample of this Viktor and Rolf Spice Bomb. It was the first time I got a 10 out of 10 rating on a fragrance from a very critical woman who I've made smell every single fragrance I own over the years. And she's never rated any of them more than a 9 out of 10. Not the one, not CH Men, not anything. And she gave this one a 10. After I bought this, I noticed an enormous amount of compliments, not just from her, but from others, which was actually much to my surprise, as I didn't think this fragrance was even going to break my top 5, to be honest. But it really does deserve its placing. The performance is great. It's not a beast. It's not overwhelming. And so it's kind of like in the middle, which is good, because then you can still use it in daytime settings. It doesn't require over-application to project adequately, and it still lasts a very long time. I can still smell it on my sweaters like weeks later. I also find that this fragrance kind of like coincides very exceptionally well with the tastes of women during the fall and winter months. You know, like during these times, women are going to like Starbucks and getting like their pumpkin spice lattes and like buying spice scented body lotion and soaps and stuff. And Viktor and Rolf Spice Bomb is literally like the epitome of sexy masculine fall/winter spices. The name of the fragrance is absolutely fitting. It encompasses the scents that women find intoxicating during these months and blends it into like a sensual, masculine, like powerhouse fragrance. And I think it's just like fantastic, to be honest with you. I have yet to find one woman who doesn't like this fragrance, and it scores a lot of compliments. Your experience might differ. Maybe I'm just have a lot of girls in my area that really like that kind of like spicy scent, but like I'm basically, this list is just like literally based on the number of compliments. It's not necessarily me saying this one is better than the other one. So just keep that in mind. Take it with a grain of salt. The best part about this fragrance too, it is really versatile. It can be used in almost any situation. Dates, clubbing, get-togethers, errands, school, work, literally any situation. Essentially, this fragrance is just fantastic. So anyways, that was my top 10 most complimented fragrances/colognes of 2017 to date. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, comment to my channel. Go to my blog, moreplatesmoredates.com, and plug in your email on the right side where the subscribe section is, and then you can get updates of new article publications, special offers and deals and stuff like that when they come out. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the support.